Did you know that close to 78% of grocery stores across the United States are now struggling to keep their shelves fully stocked? And before you assume this is about specialty or luxury items, let me stop you right there. It's not. According to supply chain experts, the reality is far more serious. February 2026 is shaping up to be one of the toughest months yet for finding 8 everyday essentials most households rely on. And trust me, item number 6 is the one almost everyone completely underestimates. So if you're tired of walking down half-empty aisles, double-checking your list, and still leaving the store without what you came for, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm breaking down which items are quietly disappearing, why it's happening, and, most importantly, what you can realistically do so your household doesn't take the hit. And quick note before we jump in. Only about 1 out of every 3 grocery shoppers knows how to prepare for shortages like these. That's why hitting subscribe now can make all the difference. Staying ahead instead of scrambling later is the goal here. Now let's get into it. Number 8. Wine and spirits. Let's start with a shortage most people don't see coming until it's too late. Wine and spirits are steadily vanishing from store shelves. And no, this isn't just about your favorite brand being unavailable. The real issue has almost nothing to do with alcohol itself. Here's the surprising truth. The biggest problem is glass. A global glass shortage has slowed bottle production to a crawl. Right now, major glass manufacturers are operating at roughly 60% capacity. Why? Sky-high energy costs paired with shortages in critical raw materials have forced several European producers to shut down nearly half their furnaces. Think about the ripple effect. That dinner party, that anniversary, that birthday celebration where showing up empty-handed just feels wrong. Even restaurants are feeling the pressure, with many reporting they're operating at only 40% of normal wine inventory, leaving wine lists looking unusually bare. But here's where things get interesting. There are ways around this. First, boxed wine is making a serious comeback. And this isn't the boxed wine you're picturing from years ago. Quality has improved dramatically, and some highly rated vineyards are now choosing boxes intentionally because they don't rely on glass. Second, local breweries and wineries are becoming a secret weapon. Many of them reuse bottles, which gives them a steadier supply compared to big retailers. And here's a tip most people still overlook: canned wines and ready-to-drink cocktails. Sales of canned wine jumped nearly 200% in the past year, and experts say these options actually stay fresher longer than wine stored in glass. But if you think that shortage is inconvenient, wait until you see what's happening next. Number 7. Eggs. Eggs are catching a lot of shoppers off guard. And this is not a normal price fluctuation. Remember when paying $3 for a dozen felt ridiculous? In some areas, prices are now nearly double that, and many stores are limiting how many cartons you can buy. The reason? A perfect storm hitting poultry farms all at once. Record-breaking heat waves in the Midwest have pushed barn temperatures beyond what cooling systems can handle. That matters because about 40% of the nation's egg-laying hens are raised in that region. Farmers are losing hens to heat stress at levels they've never seen before. At the same time, a new aggressive strain of bird flu is spreading fast. While farmers battle that, feed prices have surged by roughly 45% in just a few months. The result is brutal. Many farms have cut their flocks by nearly a third, meaning millions fewer eggs reach stores every day. And let's be real, eggs are everywhere. Breakfasts, baking, quick dinners. This shortage hits home, but there are ways to get ahead of it. One method most people don't realize is even possible: freezing eggs. Crack them into an ice cube tray, add a tiny pinch of salt to each section, then freeze. Stored properly, they'll last up to 6 months and work perfectly for baking. Plant-based egg alternatives have also improved dramatically. Newer versions perform far better than earlier attempts, especially for scrambles and baking. And one of the smartest long-term moves? Build relationships with local farmers. While big stores struggle with limits, smaller farms often maintain steadier production. Farmers markets can become a reliable source, and often a cheaper one. And just when people think this is the biggest disruption of the list, the next item proves otherwise. Number 6. Coffee beans. Take a look at your coffee mug, because this shortage could seriously disrupt your daily routine. And this isn't just about specialty roasts or fancy espresso, it's everyday coffee. Brazil and Vietnam, which together produce about 65% of the world's coffee, are dealing with their worst droughts in decades. Satellite data shows coffee-growing regions have shrunk by 23% since late 2024. Farmers are being forced to move crops to higher elevations just to keep plants alive. That process takes time, and during that transition, less coffee makes it to consumers. Retail prices have jumped by as much as 45%, and some large retailers are quietly limiting how many bags customers can buy. What's more concerning, climate experts warn that coffee-growing regions could shrink by up to 50% by 2030. Heat-resistant coffee plants are in development, but those solutions are still years away. So what can you do now? When you spot your favorite beans, grabbing one extra bag can help. Stored properly in an airtight container at room temperature, coffee stays fresh for months. Another overlooked move, local roasters. Many are sourcing beans from emerging regions like parts of India, Laos, and Myanmar, where production is expanding and adapting more quickly. And if you're stretching supplies, methods like Japanese-style cold brew use fewer beans while delivering the same caffeine kick. But caffeine lovers aren't the only ones feeling squeezed. Number 5. Butter. What many are now calling the Great Butter Crisis of 2026 has quietly taken over dairy aisles. Prices have climbed roughly 43% since late 2024, and some stores now limit shoppers to just 2 packs at a time. Extreme weather has slashed butter output in major exporting regions like New Zealand and Ireland. Milk production is down, feed costs are up, and exporting countries are keeping supply for themselves. But smaller local dairies are filling some of the gap. Many are reporting massive increases in direct-to-consumer sales, with some even launching butter subscriptions. And when you do find butter, freeze it. Wrapped correctly, butter can last up to 6 months in the freezer. Professional bakers are also turning to alternatives. Blends like Greek yogurt and olive oil work remarkably well in baking, often producing moisture results while reducing saturated fat. Cultured butter spreads are another unexpected standout. They pack more flavor, meaning you use less, and many brands add extra vitamins as well. Even restaurants adopting these changes report lower baking costs, and most customers can't taste the difference, which brings us to a global staple now facing serious pressure. Number 4, rice shortages in 2026 are bigger than most people realize. India, which supplies nearly 40% of the world's traded rice, has sharply restricted exports to protect domestic supply. This isn't limited to specialty rice. Everyday white rice, brown rice, and ready-to-eat packets are affected. Other major producers like Thailand and Vietnam are also struggling due to El Niño disruptions, with prices climbing around 40%. Large bags that once cost $15 are now hitting $25 or more. Because rice impacts everything from home cooking to restaurant menus, this shortage has a wider reach than it first appears. Alternatives are becoming essential. Quinoa, barley, and cauliflower rice are seeing wider adoption, especially for meal prep. Smaller ethnic markets often have better stock, and grocery apps with restock alerts can help shoppers time purchases. And speaking of essentials, the next item carries far more emotional weight. Number 3. Baby formula. Baby formula shortages are no longer isolated incidents. Store shelves are holding roughly 43% less formula than normal, with specialty types especially hard to find. Stricter safety standards have slowed production at several major manufacturers. While safety improvements are welcome, the disruption has left families scrambling. Smaller formula producers are increasing output, but many parents aren't familiar with these brands yet. Practical solutions matter here. Pediatricians often keep emergency supplies, and local parent groups have become powerful networks for sharing real-time availability. Small independent stores frequently have access to alternate distributors and can sometimes special order formula. Signing up for multiple stock alerts using a separate email can also make a huge difference when minutes count. And while that shortage weighs heavily on families, nearly every household is also dealing with this one. Number 2. Tomato products. Tomatoes, in every form, are suddenly frustratingly hard to find. California's Central Valley, responsible for 95% of processed tomatoes, is facing its worst drought on record. Entire fields are being left unplanted. Italy has also lost roughly 40% of its tomato crop, tightening global supply even further. The impact is massive. Prices for tomato products have jumped by as much as 70%, and many brands are quietly reformulating recipes. Making homemade sauces from fresh tomatoes, when available, and freezing them is becoming a popular workaround. Other creative bases using vegetables like red peppers and carrots are gaining traction as substitutes in sauces. Asian markets sometimes tap into alternative supply chains, offering better availability for certain tomato-based ingredients. And finally, we reach the item most people never expect to disappear. Number 1. Fresh berries. Fresh berries are becoming one of the most unpredictable items in grocery stores. California and Florida have been hit by unpredictable frost followed by intense heat, wiping out large portions of crops. In California alone, farmers recently lost more than 40% of strawberry yields in a single month. Add to that shipping costs rising 45%, and many small farmers are losing money just trying to move berries to market. Frozen berries are proving to be a reliable solution. Flash freezing preserves nutrients and often delivers better quality than fresh berries transported over long distances. Indoor growing systems are also gaining traction, allowing households to grow strawberries year-round in small spaces. And when fresh berries are available at a good price, freezing them properly at home can extend their shelf life for months. Final thoughts. Yes, these shortages feel overwhelming. But there's also a silver lining. Shoppers are getting smarter, local producers are stepping up, and innovation is accelerating across the food industry. From butter alternatives to frozen berries, your kitchen isn't running dry, it's evolving. If you've noticed something missing from your local stores, drop a comment below and share what you're seeing. Community knowledge matters more than ever. And if this breakdown helped you feel a little more prepared, make sure to like and subscribe. There's more coming, including a look at foods quietly making a comeback when everyone least expects it.